The desert wind howled through Purgatory Creek, kicking up dust devils that danced like phantom horses across the splintered wood floor of my saloon. Sweat soaked my worn shirt, clinging to me like a second skin. I fanned myself with a tattered card deck, the tarot spread fanning out before me, the tower reversed, betrayal, ruin. A familiar ache resonated in my gut, the ghost of a heartache I hadn't dared to name. Then a gust of icy air slammed into us, snuffing the lamps and plunging us into darkness. The saloon patrons yelped, scrambling for lighter fluid, but I knew better. This wasn't the wind. There was a presence, a cold, haunting dread that pressed in from all sides. Across the room, a figure coalesced from the shadows, a spectral cowboy, gaunt and ragged, his eyes burning like hot coals. He clutched a tattered map, its edges singed and brittle. "They stole it from me," his voice rasped, the words rattling like loose bones. "Jettycock, Bloodhand. She murdered me. They took everything." Chase Cuvalis. Every whisper in Purgatory Creek spoke of him, the veteran who returned from the war to find his land, his fortune, his life, gone. He blinked, his translucent hand reaching out, his fingers flickering through mine. "Help me," he pleaded. "Help me find my peace." The saloon patrons murmured, the air thick with fear and disbelief. I held his gaze, a flicker of curiosity fighting with the wave of dread. There was so much pain in those spectral eyes, so much yearning. "What can I do?" I finally asked, my voice barely a whisper. Chase's lips curled into a ghost of a smile. "Find the gold, buried in Silver Moon Canyon, and find her, Bloodhand Jetty. Force her to confess." A palpable chill settled over the room, feeding off the spectral weight of Chase's pain. I had a bad feeling about this. Was he seeking vengeance, or something more? I agreed, reluctantly. His premonition of betrayal, the lingering air of chaos, it all seemed connected. But something about Chase's haunted eyes, the desperation behind his ghostly plea, told me there was more to this story. His map led us through abandoned canyons, over scorched earth, following the skeletal fingers of a broken rail line that ran through Purgatory Creek's desolate heart. We encountered ghostly cowboys, their faces twisted in silent screams, their souls tethered to the land by unfinished business. And then, wreathed in mist, we came upon the ghost town of Deadwood Gulch, a forgotten graveyard of dreams. The air here was heavy, thick with a spectral energy that sent shivers down my spine. "Hear that?" I whispered to Chase, my voice almost lost in the wind. A high-pitched wail echoed through the empty streets, a mournful song that seemed to seep from the dust and bones that littered Deadwood Gulch. Chase's visage tightened, his spectral form flickering as if struck by a phantom wind. "It calls to me, to the gold." We followed the sound to the rusted remains of a silver mine, its entrance guarded by a figure more horrifying than anything I had ever seen. A spectral miner, his body contorted at an impossible angle, his eyes burning with a feverish light. He was beautiful and terrifying in equal measure, his hair long and greasy, his skin pallid and translucent. She wailed, her voice piercing the silence like shattered glass. A siren, but not a creature of the sea. She radiated the soul-crushing hunger of Jettycoke, amplified, twisted, manifested in this horrifying spectral form. Chase was consumed, his anger fueling the Sirens Song, his own desire for retribution feeding the darkness. Jetty. She wasn't just an outlaw. She was prey to this siren song of greed, haunted by a desire for wealth that consumed her soul. We finally found Jetty lurking in the ruins of a saloon, a silver tooth gleaming in the fading light. Fear masked her usual predatory cool, but her eyes held a haunted recognition. "I hear the siren, too," she hissed, her voice a venomous whisper. Then the truth shattered over us, a wave of spectral ice. The siren wasn't a separate entity. It was a part of Jetty, her greed conjured into a horrifying reflection. The map, the secret fortune, they were all traps, her own desires beckoning her, promising a wealth that would ultimately consume her soul. Chase was fading, his spectral form flickering ever more weakly. He was losing himself, becoming a prisoner of this toxic cycle. He couldn't escape the Sirens Song because it wasn't something alien. It was something woven into the fabric of his own tragedy. Taking a deep breath, I looked at the siren. "Let him go," I stated, my voice echoing with sudden confidence. "Let him find peace. Offer him his freedom." I offered my own regrets, my own pain, the ache of a lost love, the sting of betrayal, the echoes of past choices. Something shifted. The siren wavered, its spectral form flickering. Chase, his spectral eyes meeting mine, offered a ghost of a smile, a flicker of understanding. "You," he whispered, his voice fading. "You understand." His form dissolved into motes of light, rising into the vast emptiness of the sky, leaving behind only a whisper of regret and a chill breeze. Jetty stared at the empty space, her face a canvas of terror and loss. The greed in her eyes had dulled. She was left naked, exposed beneath a sky as cold and unforgiving as Purgatory Creek itself. The siren retreated, a mournful wail echoing through the crumbling mine shafts and shattered saloons. The song had faded, leaving behind only the silence of a shattered dream. I stood in the dust, the remnants of the map fluttering in the wind, the setting sun painting the sky in shades of sorrow and remembrance. The ghosts had found their peace. But the weight of the town's history, the siren's mournful song, would forever be etched upon my soul.